No, really. Take a second and actually answer. Why do you want to be rich? Is it for the freedom? The freedom to quit your job, travel the world, and answer to no one? Is it for the status, the respect from your peers, the admiration of strangers, the fast car, the big house? Or is it just to stop worrying? To know that the bills are paid, that your family is safe, and that you can finally just breathe. We are obsessed with the accumulation of wealth. Our world is built on it. We read the books, we listen to the podcasts, we hustle, we grind, but we're so focused on the how to get more, that we've completely forgotten to ask the most important question of all. What is wealth for? And what if, after you get it all, the money, the status, the freedom, you still feel empty? What if you just become a high-paid janitor for your own possessions? What if I told you that two of the wisest men in history, one a brilliant professor who defined virtue, the other one of the richest men in the entire Roman Empire, had already figured this out 2,000 years ago? They weren't interested in 10xing their portfolio, they were interested in a 10x life. Today, we're not talking about stock tips. We're talking about something infinitely more valuable. We're putting Aristotle and Seneca head-to-head on the topic of money, value, and what it actually means to live a rich life. By the end of this, you won't just see your bank account differently, you'll see your life differently. Let's get started. Segment 2. Aristotle. Wealth as a tool for virtue. Our first philosopher is Aristotle, and for him, life had one singular purpose: eudaimonia. This is often translated as happiness, but it's so much deeper. Think of it as human flourishing, a life lived to its absolute virtuous potential. So, where does money fit in? For Aristotle, wealth was not the goal. It was a tool, and like any tool, it could be used well or it could be dangerous. He believed wealth was simply a prerequisite for flourishing. It's hard to be a good, virtuous person when you're starving or worried about where you'll sleep. Key concept 1. The two types of wealth, oikonomia versus krimatistics. Aristotle made a brilliant distinction. First, there's oikonomia, or household management. This is natural wealth. You grow food, you build a house, you trade your surplus goods for what you need. The goal is clear: to support a good, flourishing life. The wealth has a limit. But then there's krimatistics. This is wealth for its own sake. Think of it as making money from money. Retail, speculation, high-interest lending. Aristotle hated this. Why? Because it has no natural limit. The goal is just more. He saw this as unnatural and, worse, a corruption of the soul. It makes you a slave to the pursuit of money, not a master of your life. Question to audience. Does that sound familiar? How much of our modern economy is just krimatistics, just numbers on the screen, detached from real value? Key concept 2. The virtues of wealth: liberality and magnificence. Aristotle didn't think being poor was noble. He believed you needed a moderate sufficiency of wealth to practice the key virtues of liberality. This is the virtue of giving. Not just giving, but giving the right amount to the right people at the right time. The hoarder is a vice. The wasteful spender is a vice. Liberality is the golden mean. Magnificence. This was for the very wealthy. It was the virtue of spending large sums of money on public good, funding a temple, a play, or a public work. It was using your great fortune for the good of the city, not just for your own private luxury. Aristotle's summary. So, the Aristotelian path to wealth is: get enough. Get enough to be secure, to be independent, to take care of your family, and to be a generous, contributing member of your community. After that, stop. The finish line is eudaimonia, not $1 billion. Because if you keep running, you're just running on a hamster wheel of your own making. All right, now let's fast forward about 400 years to Rome. If Aristotle was the respected professor, our next philosopher is the man in the arena. His name is Seneca.
And Seneca is a walking, talking paradox. He was a Stoic, a philosophy that preaches indifference to external things like fame, power, and money. And yet Seneca was one of the richest men in the entire Roman Empire. He was a high-powered advisor to the tyrant Nero. He was a landowner, a speculator, a moneylender. His critics called him a massive hypocrite. How can you preach poverty from your golden palace? It's a fair question. But Seneca's answer is, I think, one of the most powerful and practical philosophies of wealth ever conceived. Key concept 1. Wealth is a preferred indifferent. The Stoics had this idea. Things like health, sickness, poverty, and wealth are indifferents. They are neither good nor bad. The only good is virtue, wisdom, justice, courage. The only bad is vice, foolishness, injustice, cowardice. But, Seneca would say, that within those indifferents, some are preferred. It's better to be healthy than sick, and it's better to be wealthy than poor. Why? Because wealth gives you more opportunities to practice virtue. It's easier to be generous when you have money. It's easier to be calm and rational when your basic needs are met. So how did Seneca, the multimillionaire, not get corrupted? He practiced. He famously wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This is radical. He was rehearsing poverty. He was building psychological armor. He knew his wealth could vanish tomorrow. Nero could take it all. By proving to himself that he would be fine without it, he robbed it of its power. He could own his wealth without his wealth owning him. Key concept number 3, the master versus the slave. Seneca's core message is this: be the master of your wealth, not its slave. He wrote that for the wise man, wealth is a slave, for the fool, a master. What does that mean? If you are anxious about your portfolio 24/7, if you are terrified of losing it, if your entire identity is tied to your net worth, you are a slave. You are not wealthy. You are just a well-paid guard for a pile of gold. Seneca's summary. For Seneca, it's not about not having money. It's about being able to give it all up at a moment's notice and be perfectly fine. The true wealth is the internal, unshakable resilience. The money is just a bonus. Segment 4. The synthesis. Who's right? Okay, let's put our two titans in the ring. The professor versus the practitioner. Who's right, and what's the ultimate takeaway? Where they agree. First, they both agree wealth is not the highest good. The goal of life is virtue or flourishing. Money is just a tool. They both agree that how you use money is a test of your character. Are you generous? Are you moderate? Or are you enslaved by it? Where they diverge, the key difference is in how much. Aristotle is the philosopher of enough. He's suspicious of big finance. He wants wealth tied to real, tangible things. He's the buy a sustainable farm guy. Seneca is the philosopher of detachment. He's fine with massive, abstract wealth as long as you are prepared to lose it all. He's the become a billionaire and practice sleeping on the floor guy. He sees wealth as a test of your inner strength. The big question for us, so who do you follow? Is Aristotle's path of just enough a more realistic and healthy model for a good life? Or is Seneca's path of have it all but be ready to lose it all the ultimate mental framework for navigating the volatility of our modern world? Can you truly be a billionaire stoic? Or is it a justification for greed? Segment 5. Conclusion. The modern philosophy of wealth. After 2,000 years, here's what I believe they both teach us. Our modern obsession with wealth is broken because it's aimless. We're chasing a number without a why. The lesson from Aristotle is, define your enough. Right now, what is your enough number? Not the one fantasy tells you, but the one that actually lets you live your eudaimonia. The one that gives you freedom, security, and the ability to be generous. Define your enough, because a finish line you can't see is just a hamster wheel. Build a mind so resilient, relationships so strong, and a character so virtuous that if a market crash or a bad boss took all your money tomorrow, you would still be rich. Prove to yourself that your happiness is not for sale. That is a wealth no one can ever take from you. In the end, the philosophy of wealth isn't about getting rich. It's about defining for yourself what a rich life truly is. Aristotle teaches us to make wealth our tool. Seneca teaches us to make it our servant. But both would agree on the most important rule: it must never, ever be your master.